Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, everybody. It is Saturday, July 23rd? Yeah, July 23rd. And you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I am not retiring Jeremy Pierce. And, first things first, as always, you can catch me out on Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram and the 215 on Twitter. And last week we looked at the Unwarranted Push, the start of that new series. And we were going to look at, we were going to do the second episode of Faction Warfare, but there's some big news on this past Friday. Vince McMahon has retired, or let's just say stepped away due to the sex story. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Him leaving, his statement, a whole bunch of things. But before we even get into that, we got the news, we got our weekend review. But for now, just go on and hit my music. In the news realm, female talent have been frustrated with the company's booking, especially during the entire month of spring, and they've made enough fuss. And I really don't want to call it fuss, but we've started to see more women booked. I don't want to say equally, but they just need better booking. I think that goes for a lot of women in WWE and actually AEW as well. Goldberg has stated that he is still under contract to the WWE. We almost got to see Goldberg wrestle again. We'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, he's still under contract. September will be Goldberg's 25th anniversary in wrestling, so we'll see what they do about that. Ric Flair will be teaming with his son-in-law Andrade in his last match to take on Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Definitely go check out the video promoted for the match. It's insane. AEW does have plans in place to still introduce trios tag team titles. A lot of people thought that we were going to get the FTR Young Bucks third match with the winner taking all, with the Young Bucks being tag team champions, putting their belts on the line. And FTR putting the AAA, Ring of Honor, and IWGP tag team championships on the line. But no. Looks like they're pretty much planning for Kenny Omega to return. The WWE forgot Humberto and Angel Garza are cousins. They really tried. They really forgot. AEW was not a sellout this past week. There were a couple sections of empty seats in the lower bowl. It's really, really, really tough. But the way they portrayed it on TV made it look fantastic. AEW is also targeting All Out for several key returns from injury. Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk are hopeful to be returned in time for All Out. The Briscoes are specifically under contract to Ring of Honor. No other company, no other promotion, but they can't appear on Warner programming for now, and I hope Tony Khan gets this fixed. Chris Jericho broke his nose in the Barbed Wire Everywhere match, so there's another injury for you. Rhino is also injured. He had hip surgery, so he's out for an undisclosed amount of time. They did an angle where Honor No More took him out, they being Impact, so he'll be back. You're wondering why Liv Morgan is finally getting his push? It's because Sasha and Naomi walked out. Because of Sasha and Naomi walking out, they needed to elevate someone else to the top babyface next to Ronda on SmackDown. There's Liv Morgan. Well, I was ready for it. AEW are planning a massive event in Canada, whether that's a TV special like Fight for the Fallen or Winter's Coming, or even a pay-per-view, possibly. We know All Out is in Chicago. What's the pay-per-view of the year? Full Gear. But they plan on going to Canada. Toronto is the city of choice. The Good Brothers contract with Impact expired last week. They're working on a per deal for now, but they will probably drop the tag team belts at some points. Back to injuries. Sami Zayn is hurt. He is out with an injury. Something to do with his arm. He's out for a minute. We don't know when he'll get the green light. Santana had reconstructive knee surgery this past week. Even though, he and Ortiz kind of had a falling out, it's going to be tough for Ortiz to not get lost in the shuffle. And I'm hoping these two get their shit together, get whatever's holding them two back from working together again. But that's the news, and we shall be right back. This, I don't want to say it was a quiet week, but it was I guess it was a quiet week until Friday at 4:00. Let's just get into it. So, as you know, Raw, SmackDown, we are moving forward with we're building towards SummerSlam. Raw was a randomly subpar show. They've been like enjoyable, but this time I don't know, man. So we had the show got off on the wrong foot. We had a very tone deaf segment with the use of Titus. We know how important Titus O'Neil has been to this company, and the charity work that he does, and the things that he does in the community, and just he's a great person. And they used him to open up Raw with some shit about acceptance, and we're here for it's tone deaf. It's so bad. It was just bad. And then Becky came out and cut a promo, and then tell her it was her story, talking about it's her story, it's her comeback. And Bianca said, "No, it's Bianca's story." Carmella's calling her shot. We had a rematch for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca won. Carmella and Bianca put on a good match as usual. Carmella, again, like I said, is very, very underrated. The Street Profits are confronted by MVP backstage, and this is only to a match between Angelo Dawkins and Omos. KO returned with the KO show. His guest was Riddle, and he tells Riddle that they should be a tag team, even though RKO sounds good. RK Bro sounds good. Bro KO sounds better, and to not trust Seth and to not trust Randy. And then right there, Riddle started to lose it. He's got to defend his boy Randy. Seth jumped Riddle, hit him with a couple stomps. Damian Priest beat Rey Mysterio. We're building towards, I guess, Dominic eventually turning on Rey. And next week will be the 20th anniversary of Rey Mysterio on the WWE. Seth Rollins beat Ezekiel in another solid match. And Ezekiel matches are just better than Elias's matches. I'm just saying. Dom is definitely turning on Rey next week. Angelo Dawkins beat Omos by DQ after MVP was caught cheating, but the Street Profits weren't caught cheating. And then we got a tag match between the Usos versus MVP and Omos. And MVP was in the suit, and guess what? That match ended in a DQ after the Usos got involved. Yay! We had an in-ring segment with Austin Theory and AJ Styles. Whatever. Ziggler came out and sat ringside for Theory's match. And Ziggler super kicks Theory with the ref's back turn, causing Theory to lose by countout. Okay. We had a match between Alexa, Asuka, and Dana Brooke taking on Doudrop, Nikki ASH, and Tamina. This match went 3 minutes. They couldn't even give these women 10 to 15 minutes to have a really good match. We had 24/7 shenanigans with multiple people winning the championship. And it ends with Dana winning the championship back and leaving. Whatever. Main event segment was Miz TV with Logan Paul. They're really, really trying hard to get Logan Paul to be a face and to get him cheered. It's not happening. It's not working. And Miz was kind of the face here. He wasn't getting cheered, nor was he getting booed. But that was Raw. Just Dynamite. We had barbed wire everywhere. Week 2 of Fyter Fest. And this was tied into Shark Week. So Dynamite also gets a fist. This wasn't one of its better shows, but it wasn't really a bad show. I can't remember the last time I gave Dynamite a thumbs down. You know what I mean? Brody King, our first match was Brody King versus Darby Allin, and this was pretty much a super squash. Brody King beating Darby Allin. Sting came out to try to make the save for his son, but got the black mist from Malachi Black. And then Miro came out, but he was wearing sunglasses, and Malachi had this smirk, like, okay, maybe I'm getting to Miro. Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta defeated the Best Friends. This was a nice little showing. We had a tag team celebration with Keith Lee and Swerve. And then out came Tony Nese and Mark Sterling to get to the face of Kevin Gates. And Kevin Gates punched Tony Nese and Swerve threw a cake at Mark Sterling. Christian and Luchasaurus beat the Varsity Blondes. Jungle Boy returned, and Luchasaurus did not stop him from going after Christian, which is odd. We never even got an explanation of why Luchasaurus teamed with Christian. Ricky Starks beat Cole Carter, who you know formerly as Tony D'Angelo from NXT. Ricky Starks has been on fire, and now he will get a challenge from Danhausen. So here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. Danhausen's tag team partner is Hook, but Hook is also on team task with Ricky and Hobbs. Wonder where they're going to go with this. We had a really, really good FTR promo, pretty much saying fight like an 8-year-old girl. Just go and watch it. Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan beat Athena and Willow Nightingale. This was a fun, solid match. Jermaine Dupri accompanied Jade and Kiera to the ring. He didn't really do anything or even figure into the outcome of the match. In our main event, we had barbed wire everywhere, and this was just a bunch of shenanigans. The JAS was hung up above the ring, with the exception of Sammy and Ty. I don't know why they weren't in the cage. Ty then tried to come out to lower the cage, and it came out to stop. Ruby came out. No, Ruby had control of the cage, and Ty tried to get Ruby to lower it, beat her up at the end. It came out, and then turn heel and attack Ruby. So then they lowered the JAS, and then they're trying to help Jericho, and then Blackpool Combat Club comes out, and there was just a lot going on here. It was an overbooked mess. But there was barbed wire everywhere. People were bleeding. Jericho wins with a barbed wire Judas effect. But Eddie gets the last laugh after he dumps Jericho into the barbed wire board. This has to be the end of the feud, right? Eddie won the first match and the blood and guts, but lost this one. This feud has got to be over, right? We can maybe move to Ruby versus Ty. I don't know. Now Dynamite gets a fist over on Impact in the Impact corner. Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo defeated Mia Yim, but they want a title shot. And Gail Kim tells Deonna, "Well, you lost the number one contenders match, so you're not going to get a title shot. But you guys can get a tag team title shot." Now Impact is falling to the realm of random teams pairing up. We're doing this with the WWE. I wholeheartedly believe and suggest that Impact should let the Knockouts Tag Team Championships be a traveling championship so they can be defended between Ring of Honor AEW and Impact, because there's plenty of teams between those three companies, and it would be great. It would be constant crossover. I don't know more. Say they aren't done with Impact. Mike Bailey retained the X Division Championship over Dina. Masha Slamovich continues to dominate. This time she dominated Madison Rain. And in our main event, Alex Shelley defeated Chris Sabin, becoming the number one contender. Diener and the other people from Violent by Design tried to take out the Motor City Machine Guns, but Kushida made his debut, made the save. He is a former tag team partner of, I believe, Alex Shelley, back up in New Japan. Over on SmackDown, well, let's see what happens. Well, when Vince retired, we heard that Brock left, and we didn't know what was going to go down. Stephanie opened the show, pretty much started a thank you Vince chants. It's kind of also tone deaf. Ludwig Kaiser beat Shinsuke with a little help from Gunther, but Gunther still punished him because he should have been able to win the match by himself. We had a nice backstage segment with Liv and Ronda. Ronda's confident that she's going to beat Liv because she's Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan is Liv Morgan, and that when she beats her, make sure to shake her hand like she did her. And Liv says she's got the passion, desire, you know, to live things. This was a nice little segment. This is the only time we see these two on the show. And Pat McAfee was attacked by Corbin. I mean, Corbin came out of nowhere and just kicked the shit out of Pat. Then they brawled backstage, and then Pat hyped the match in the ring. So this has got some solid build to it. The Viking Raiders defeated Jinder and Shanky. The New Day were on commentary. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre will fight one more time, but the Sheamus is this says this will be a Donnybrook match, and also the sword won't be able to be used anymore. Raquel Gonzalez beat Sonya Deville. We had a repeat of Aaliyah and Lacey Evans. At some point, they got to have a match, which I think will be next week. We have the debut of Maxine Dupree. It was just kind of, we're talking about the the Max's Models Swimmer collection. Maxine Dupree is formerly Sophia Cromwell from NXT. And in our main event, the Street Profits and Madcap Moss defeated the Usos and Austin Theory by DQ. While Theory was taking out Moss, Brock came out and just destroyed Theory. Destroyed them. So we see that in a fair fight, Brock will win, but Theory has the briefcase, so he doesn't need to have a fair fight. Over on Rampage, Hangman Page and John Silver defeated the Butcher and the Blade. Claudio Castagnoli said he will win the Ring of Honor World Championship at Death Before Dishonor, which is tonight. Let me give you that card after the Rampage review. Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin had a nice little match, but Lee Moriarty won by holding on to the ropes. So Matt Sydal didn't like that, not at all. So Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty will have a match next week. Britt Baker and Jimmy Hayter defeated Sky Blue and Ashley D'Ambrose. We had a fun rap battle between the Gun Club. When it was I want to say it was Austin versus Max Caster. It was solid. It ends with the Gun Club taking out the Acclaimed, and in the main event, Jay Lethal defeated Christopher Daniels. They beat up Christopher Daniels after the match to promote Death Before Dishonor. Death Before Dishonor has 11 matches on the pre-show, i.e. 0 hour. That's what they call their pre-show. We got a 6-man tag. The Gates of Agony and Brian Cage taking on Alex Zane, Blake Christian, and Tony Deppen. The Shinobi Shadow Squad taking on the Trust Busters. Colt Cabana versus Anthony Henry. Allison Kay versus Willie Nightingale. And on our main card, Roosh will be taking on his brother Dragon Lee, which is great. The Righteous, Vincent Bateman and Dutch will be taking on Dalton Castle and the Boys. Mercedes Martinez will be defending the Ring of Honor Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. FTR will be defending the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships in a 2 out of 3 falls match against the Briscoes. Wheeler Yuta will be defending the Pure Rules Championship, the Pure Championship in the Pure Rules match against Daniel Garcia, Samoa Joe will be defending the television championship against Jay Lethal, and Jonathan Gresham will be defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Claudio Castagnoli. Yep. And our matches of the week, didn't have that many this week, guys. From NXT, Cameron Grimes versus JD McDonough. From a Dynamite, Barbed Wire Everywhere, Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. And from Impact, Alex Shelley versus Chris Sabin. Our star of the week, double dose, double up, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. And we'll be right back. Wow. Vince McMahon has quote unquote retired. It was random. It came at, I won't say an opportune time, but we know what the catalyst was for this. If you don't know, the Wall Street Journal hush money scandal they reported on with Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, and this, I guess, is the perfect time to really dive into all of it. It's tough, it's weird, you know what I mean? But let's start off with his statements, Vince McMahon. So at 77 years old, he tweeted out from his official Twitter account, "At 77, time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then, now, forever together. Hashtag WWE. Hashtag thankful." Now, this isn't the first statement. He then had another one. A full statement from WWE Corporate. And it reads, "As I approach 77 years old, I feel it's time for me to retire as chairman and CEO of WWE. Throughout the years, it's been a privilege to help WWE to bring you joy, inspire you, thrill you, surprise you, and always entertain you. I'd like to thank my family for mightily contributing to our success, and I would also like to thank all of our past and present superstars and employees for their dedication and passion for our brand. Most importantly, I would like to thank our fans for allowing us into your homes every week and being your choice of entertainment. I hold the deepest appreciation and admiration for our generations of fans all over the world who have liked, currently like, and sometimes even love our form of sports entertainment." And it continues, "Our global audience can take comfort in knowing WWE will continue to entertain you with the same fervor, dedication, and passion as always. I am extremely confident in the continued success of WWE, and I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives. In particular, both chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon and co-CEO Nick Khan." He concluded by saying, "As the majority shareholder, I will continue to support WWE in any way I can. My personal thanks to our community and our business partners, shareholders, and board of directors for their guidance and support throughout the years. Then, now, forever together." That's a lot. So the first really big news out of all this is that Stephanie and Nick Khan are co-CEOs. They are co-CEOs. Co-CEOs never work, people. So the question is, will Nick Khan win out? We've been all assuming that Nick Khan would win out and he would be the man put in charge. He would be the man with the plan. He was the one behind the many releases throughout these last few years. And that wasn't the only news, because that wasn't the first news we got throughout the day, which in the news we got earlier in that day should have hinted at something was amiss. So earlier that day, Triple H returned to WWE as Executive Vice President of Talent Relations. And he stated, no further details, that I look forward to returning to my prior position as head of the Talent Relations. I'm healthy, fired up, and ready to take charge. Now, who was in that position before him? That would be John Laurinaitis. So, our first question is, what happens now? Because Bruce Pritchard had the role, John Laurinaitis had the role, and John Laurinaitis is on administrative leave because of the hush money scandal. With Triple H being back into his old position, this effectively means John Laurinaitis is gone from the company. Should have never been brought back. He's out. But what does this mean for the head of creatives? Well, right now it's going with Bruce Pritchard. I forget who else is in charge of head of creative, but it makes sense that people will default to Stephanie and Triple H. So Triple H is back in power. Vince McMahon is gone. When this news came out, of course, the wrestling world exploded. Vince McMahon was pretty much the reason we have professional wrestling today. The way we have it, where it is, what it is. It's him. There was a talent meeting that day. When it was announced, they had an all hands on deck meeting, especially with the talent, and it was just addressing this post WWE world without Vincent Kenny McMahon. Here's the thing: when that news came out, Brock left, and we heard that he was essentially pissed off. Brock left, saying that if he's gone, i.e. Vince, then Brock's gone. Obviously, we know he came back, and some are already saying his walkout was kind of blown out of proportion. So we will be getting our Summerslam match. Roman was not on the show, so that's what we have. Vince is gone, and the first thing, kind of domino effect, was Brock walking out, and we were going to have another break glass in case of emergencies, with them possibly going back and getting Goldberg. It's rough and it's scary, and it's something that I don't want. I don't, even though much I enjoy Brock, I don't want him back right now. I just don't. So we already saw a couple changes. Some, these were immediate. For example, with the New Day on commentary, Xavier Woods mentioned Ring of Honor and IWGP. Those rarely, if ever, get mentioned. We had, I don't know, it felt like the commentary team were a little bit more looser. There's no one yelling in their ear. But we'll get to the changes later. So Brock. The one thing Brock is about is his paper. Was he really going to leave the WWE high and dry? No. I think he's definitely going to go through with the match. So he's here. SummerSlam, and this next weekend leading up to SummerSlam, it's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? And we might see the first week of true changes because Vince McMahon is gone. So he's no longer the head of creative. He's retiring from all roles, including creative. See, we all thought Vince was going to die before he leaves the company. You know what I mean? We thought Vince was just going to never leave. How did the locker room react? Well, the locker room kind of had a positive reaction, if I do say so myself. That's what we're hearing. They were surprised, but the belief was that he would always be around, but that there would be new energy, especially, most important thing is on the creative side. And that's kind of where we're going to go, where we're going to what we're going to discuss the changes. What do you expect to happen? Well, what would you like to happen? Because there will be changes, some immediate, some not so immediate. So what are we looking towards? Let's start with something that's kind of been cause of concern in the WWE. Tag team wrestling. We have known for a very, very long time that Vince McMahon does not like tag team wrestling. We know this. And will we get it back? Will we see an influx? Will we see tag teams really start to be treated like tag teams? See, here's the thing. With Vince being gone, it's the creative direction. We've seen at times when they care about tag team wrestling, it can be great. Prime example, the Usos Street Profits match that just happened at Money in the Bank. That was a 5-star match. We get that a few times a month in AEW. We get that a few times a month in Impact. Because they value tag team wrestling. They know how to switch it up. You know what I mean? This is something that we need to see. An emphasis on tag teams. An emphasis on them looking great. How about the women's tag team division? Since Sasha and Naomi have been gone, there's been no mention besides that 1 week of the tag team championships. No mention of them. None. So what do we do about that division? We see what's going on with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships right now. And in my opinion, I think the NXT UK Tag Team Championship are being divided by being on Brooks and Jensen, an American team who can't be overseas to defend them. That's stupid. That was a stupid ass fucking... We'll get into NXT later. Speaking of Sasha and Naomi, if anybody can get Sasha and Naomi back, it's Triple H and it's Stephanie McMahon. Nick Khan may not want them back, but now with Triple H and Stephanie back in power, maybe this can get smoothed over. Maybe they can have a talk and be like, hey, what can we bring you guys back? What would it take for you two to come back? And the demands that they had can maybe be accommodated this time around. These two go hand in hand. Kevin Dunn getting the fuck out of here. Gone. Get this dickhead out of here. Because the camera cuts and the horrible just camera angles gotta go. Got to go. He is not liked. He has been a bane and an albatross of professional wrestling. He just has. He's got to bounce. Kevin does not well liked, especially by Stephanie McMahon. She hates him. He won't be missed. I am letting you all know that right now. Kevin Dunn won't be missed. We can see a change in the presentation. We can maybe see better music. Maybe we can get Titantrons back with that aren't just words. How about this one? You have in your company right now, in your midst, quite possibly the greatest creative mind in all of professional wrestling, in the history of professional wrestling. You guys know who I'm talking about. Paul Heyman. Could we see a possible rise in power, an elevation of Paul Heyman to the creative side. We all know that if Paul Heyman wasn't in charge of the money in ECW would still be going on today because he's a creative genius. He knows how to get the best out of his talents. And sticking with talent, more creative freedom. As in, we don't have to script their promos all the time. We don't have to we don't have to make it look like they don't know what they're doing. The thing that makes AEW so great is the relationship talent have with Tony Khan, where they can voice their concerns. They can say, this doesn't work. Oh, this does work. I like this. And we don't have to script your promos. But here's these bullet points. This is the time that you have. Hit it. Make it do what it do. Now, yeah, some people do need scripted promos. Well, I'll give you that. But we can just change the wording this time around, and it will be an immediate benefit. That's all I'm saying. An immediate benefit. The important thing that we want is talent to have more creative freedom. If Vince McMahon being gone, no longer pulling the strings, does that. Moving over to the Rainbow brand that is NXT, I think this is where the big changes will be. Starting with them bringing in talent for NXT development talent. A lot of the talent they bring in recently have been the NIL talent, college athletes that they say have the look, and they could train them and teach them the WWE style. The WWE style isn't all that's worked out to be. Yes, it tells a proper story, but the thing that makes wrestling unique is wrestlers have different styles, different techniques, different backgrounds where they can learn from, they can grow from, and just learning one specific style does not help, does not work. So there's that. Will we see an elevation back of top talent? Because now that Vince is gone, that the change of NXT 2.0 was his idea. Will Bruce Pritchard no longer be in charge of NXT with Shawn Michaels, and it could be a Shawn and Hunter show again? Like, I don't expect the black and gold to come back, but I expect a little bit more cohesion. I expect a little bit more properness to NXT. I looked at the battle royal that they had to crown the number one contender for Mandy Rose. Most of the women in that ring were green as baby shits. There were about 4 wrestlers in that ring who should not have even been in that match. Casey and Katana Chance, Ivy Now, Zoe Stark, and Lord knows Alba Fire should not have been in that ring. Will we see the change of the top talents being elevated once again? And lastly, will we see better call-ups from NXT? For every Seth Rollins, for every Roman Reigns and Shinsuke Nakamura, we have The Ascension, we have Adam Rose, we have No Way Jose. Failed call-ups. You know what a great change that I hope we get? Stop changing wrestler names. Feel bad for my boys, Grizzly Young Veterans, because this Diaz shit ain't it. Can T-Bar go back to being Dominique Dijakovic? And lastly, this is a long shot about company crossovers. We saw one earlier the year with the WWE and Impact Wrestling with Mickie James being at the Royal Rumble, but WWE New Japan, WWE and maybe Rev Pro, WWE and Shimmer. Who knows? But that is something I'm possibly looking forward to. The WWE doing their own Forbidden Door, but Time will tell. Time for sure will tell. At the end of the day, Vince McMahon is no longer with the WWE, and I don't know, because it was so shocking when he announced it over a tweet. It wasn't like a press conference. There wasn't a call. It was just, I'm retiring. Looking forward to seeing these changes, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what could possibly go down. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any other changes you would like to see? What are you looking forward to? What do you hope happens? But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Once again, you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations. On Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter. Next week we will have our SummerSlam preview, and I will get the video posted. It will be the SummerSlam game show. I will be your game master, and we're gonna have some fun. I had a really good time recording that and reviewing that. Next week will be our SummerSlam preview. Like I said, predictions, how we got there, what do you expect from the show. But and be on the lookout for the first episode of The Filthy Casual. That's coming too. That will be sometime next week as well. I'm trying to get both of those videos up, The Filthy Casual and the SummerSlam game show. Can't wait for all that. But for now, Wendy Chu, Xylee, Gigi Dolan, just go on and holla at your boy. Peace.